Sunday, and I did not go to church this morning. I'm sorry I don't have a sermon response for you today, but I did want to jump on really quick and make sure that I said that, so I'm not just flaking out on you. I did try to watch the sermon online, but I really was feeling miserable this morning. I've got a head cold, and I just could not follow it. And this is where I love the fact that we can watch sermons online, because even though I missed it this morning because I wasn't feeling good, I could watch it. And even though I couldn't follow it, I can now rewatch it later. So we were in the book of James and still in chapter 3, those last few verses of chapter 3. And we like to, when we see our headings, think that this is a totally separate thought. And I remember earlier in the week thinking, it's not a separate thought, that it goes together. And so the previous ones, we were talking about the tongue and taming the tongue, and no man can tame the tongue, because it really is never about the tongue, it's about the heart. And animals, right, they do what God created them to do. Trees, they do what God created them to do. The fig tree bears figs, the grapevine bears grapes, the apple tree apples, and so on and so forth. Saltwater ponds have salt water in them. The fish in them are saltwater fish, right? And as I was thinking about that, I was thinking about how man, as it says, man cannot tame his own tongue. Man is the only creation of God that, because of sin, doesn't do what God created it to do. Man was made to glorify God, and we don't do that, even as Christians, even as those who really walk with the Lord. It is so hard to glorify God in everything that we do. It's not just glorifying God on Sunday when we're standing there worshiping with everybody. It's not just saying the right things. It's an attitude of the heart, and it's an everyday, every moment thing that we, as image bearers of Christ, were created to give glory and honor to our Creator. And as we get into this passage, it starts talking about, and I'm going to do my best to remember a little bit here, but who is wise? And show us by your actions. It goes back to actions, right? Because what is going on in our heart? The way that we make our decisions. Is our wisdom from above, or is our wisdom from the world? And we see that in the way that we make our choices. So as we're making our choices, sometimes we can feel like even we're making a good choice, but it isn't the one that God would have chosen for us. Not necessarily a bad thing, not necessarily sin, but not necessarily the best thing, because we can do a lot of things that aren't bad, that aren't sinful, but don't glorify God. So, what does that mean? I don't know. I mean, this is one that I'm going to continue to meditate on. So, in the new section, it talks about wisdom, and where does it come, and we need to show it by our actions, show it in our response to things, and that there is a wisdom that is of this earth, but it is demonic, it is evil, it is wrong, it is not the wisdom from above. And we have traded our culture, our people, the world has traded the wisdom of God for the wisdom of man. Sometimes even for the wisdom of AI, which isn't even a man or a woman. Anyway, those are the thoughts that we're going to be going over this week as we delve into the sermon and the sermon summary coming up in a couple of days. So you can pray for me that my head cold is healed. Man, it's hard to think when your head is full of snot. But I am going to be diving deeper into that and thinking more about how does that play out in my own life, and how do I change the way that I make decisions. I mean, I feel like I pray about decisions. I go to the Word about decisions, but sometimes you'll have these things in front of you and you don't know which one to decide. Is it really that it matters what decision you make? I don't know. I guess the question that I'm going to start asking myself is, if I decide this, will it be glorifying to God? Will what I do in that decision be glorifying to God? Or if I choose B, will my actions, if I follow the path of point B, will they be glorifying to God? So I challenge you to kind of do the same thing and ask yourself, is what I'm doing glorifying God? Because we can often justify bad behavior because of different scenarios. And we'll say, well, God wouldn't, people say, I don't say this, but people say, well, God wouldn't be upset because, they deserve that or whatever. Is what I'm doing, is what I'm saying glorifying to God? Am I speaking the truth of His Word? Am I speaking the wisdom from above? And later in the verses, it gets into the difference between the wisdom from above that is pure and the wisdom from earth that is evil. And I don't remember the verses well enough to really go into more about that, but I will. I'm going to. And so, I'm going to end this for today. Thanks for listening. I'm a little bit rambly, I know, but I am going to be rewatching that sermon and spending time in that passage to bring you something on Tuesday that I've thought about and that Pastor Danny has thought about. But if you want to go watch his sermon, you can of course watch it on YouTube at Cornerstone Wadsworth is our YouTube channel, and it's there for you anytime you want to get caught up on what is happening in the book of James. Thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to give that video a like and comment with any creator that you're watching. Help them to push that content out. Content creators don't usually do their content for nothing. There's a purpose behind it. Mine is to share God's Word with other people, and so the more people that get to view it, the better. So please, please, please engage with the video so that its value is increased by the algorithm and more people will see it. I thank you so much. You have a great day, and I'll see you real soon.